everyone, I'm Wardee with Traditional Cooking School, and we are going to be talking about kombucha today. More specifically, continuous brew kombucha, which is really exciting. So we all know and love kombucha. However, as a kombucha lover, that wonderful probiotic fermented beverage that's naturally carbonated, that has probiotics and beneficial acids, it's really good for us. If you love it, and you're buying it, you know it can be an expensive habit. So that's why so many of us turn to making it at home. And the next step up from that is to start doing a continuous brew system at home. So you can kind of make larger batches, always have it around, and save a little space too. There's a lot of reasons to think about continuous brew kombucha. So let's talk about it now. My family's made kombucha for years. And I've typically done it in 1 gallon jars, sometimes up to 7 at a time on the counter. It takes up a lot of space. So then when I found out about continuous brew kombucha, I was really intrigued because of the fact that you can make bigger batches and save some space. And it saves time because you're doing more with kind of the same amount of effort or more in the same amount of time. This is a continuous brew system from getkombucha.com. Getkombucha.com is from Dave Lindenbaum, and I was able to meet him recently. He's a wonderful guy, full of energy. He really puts a quality product out there. He has a wonderful kombucha story himself. You can check it out on his website, but here's the gist of it. He suffered from acid reflux for years. He just, out of curiosity, ordered kombucha at a restaurant one time and didn't have acid reflux for the first time in ages. So it was just kind of healed overnight. So Dave's got a great story. I really enjoyed learning it, and I was really enjoyed getting a chance to try out the continuous brew system that he's got out there. My son and I have been using it for a couple months. We love it. So to start out, this is the lead-free porcelain brewer. It's 2.5 gallon capacity from getkombucha.com. It's a wood stand. You can see it's got the spout. It's so easy to use. You can do a lot of kombucha, a big quantity of it. It's up off the counter, so you're decanting right into your container, so there's not very much mess. Of course, you're saving money because you're making it at home. There's just tons of reasons to do continuous brew kombucha. So our approach has been that we do a really big batch of kombucha. We brew it to the point we like, which is not very sweet. And then we will decant it into bottles for a second fermentation. We've got dried fruit in the bottom of these. In fact, it's cherry, so it's a cherry kombucha. And then ferment these for a couple more days. Meanwhile, make another really big batch of sweet tea and fill this brewer back up to ferment fully. And that's kind of our cycle. I want to show you inside here. It's got this just easy cloth on top to cover it and keep it dust free. And if you peek inside, you can see my big floating disc, the Scoby, the mother culture. It's floating right on top of a whole bunch of finished kombucha. If you've already got a Scoby, you can just make use of it. And if it's small, no big deal. Over time, it'll be fermenting and it'll grow to expand to match the diameter of the brewer. I love it that Dave includes live Scobies with a lot of his kits. So instead of dehydrated, you're starting with a fresh Scoby. It's wonderful, and it just starts working right off the bat. Now I've got a lot of things up here because the kit that I got from Dave is the Brewmaster Select Big Kit. So a lot of these items are up here. Of course, we've used some of them, but I want to talk about the highlights. One of the things is these bottles. This is food grade plastic. It's the perfect size so that you do your you decant your kombucha, do your dried fruit or whatever flavor you want for the second ferment, cap it, let it ferment a couple days to reinvigorate the organisms with that fruit sugar, and they'll produce more bubbles and you get that good second ferment flavor. Then when you start drinking it, it's the perfect size, so it's bubbly from start to finish, as long as you don't drag that out too long. So it's a great container. It's also lightweight, as opposed to glass plastic. Now these are fantastic bottles that we do for the look at home. Not very portable though. So if we want to take kombucha on a picnic lunch, this is the container we use. So these are fantastic. And they conveniently fit right under the tap, so they're really easy to fill. A couple other things with some of the kits, or with the big kit, is this seedling mat. Could use it as in the garden for your seedlings, but you can also use it for your kombucha, because kombucha likes a warm temperature. So if you've got a cool winter and your kombucha is taking longer, well, this will come in handy. So there's several ways to do it. And I asked Dave about this. One of the ways is to simply, wrap it around your porcelain brewer. And you can secure it with a rubber band or a cloth, a tie or something. Of course, plug it in. The other thing you can do is you can lift the brewer up and set this on the wooden stand and set the brewer on top of that. So it's a way to keep this warm. You do want to keep in mind that this porcelain really holds on to its cold, so it'll take a while to warm up, but once it gets warmed up, then it really holds on to its warmth, and it'll start conveying that to the kombucha inside, to the ferment inside, so it just takes some time. What we tend to do is we just let this be however long it takes, and we use this mat when we do our second ferment. So we decant our kombucha into our bottles, we do the whole batch, the whole brewer, and so then we've got all these bottles here, and instead of taking 3 to 4 days if it's kind of cool weather to do the second ferment, they're done in 1 to 2 sometimes, so it's more immediate gratification if you can keep these warm. You do want to be careful though, they'll build up carbonation, so don't let it go too long or you may have some explosions. You can tell because the bottom of this, instead of being a little bit curved up so it can sit flat, it'll start curving down, so it'll start kind of rolling around. So then you know it's building too much pressure. And so when you do a second ferment, you're going to find that it gets really bubbly and wonderful, just like soda. So here we're going to do a quick test. I'm going to open it with you. You heard that release of air? That was the carbonation built up. Oh man, that is so good. And I've got another bottle here to open in front of you. And that was quite a pop. The tea blend is really delicious, so definitely consider using it, and if you run out and want to repurchase, great, or you can just revert to the black tea, white tea, or green tea you're accustomed to using. This is really wonderful to try. Dave has also got advanced tea blends in his larger kits. Every one of these kits contains this really wonderful, even a child could follow, diagram chart of how to make kombucha using the brewer system. And one of my favorite parts is the kits that include pH strips. You've got this pH rainbow down here. So you use your pH strip and you dip it in your kombucha, and then you match it against this to see if your kombucha is done yet. And you're looking for a pH of 3.5. So what you're looking for is that your kombucha is about 3.5 or less when it's done. If you like this video, be sure to click the thumbs up button below and leave a comment with your comments, questions, or suggestions. And also be sure to subscribe to my channel so you hear about future videos that are headed your way. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.